Hi there, I'm Ice here, and I would like to welcome you to my brand new game experiment by BioWare and EA. As you can see, probably recognized it already as Dragon Age Origins. I've been planning this Let's Play for quite a while, basically since I've done pacifist Let's Plays of Oblivion and semi-pacifist Let's Plays of Skyrim. I thought I'd turn to this classic. It's 4 or 5 years ago now that it came out. Some say it's the last good BioWare game so far. At either rate, I think it's a classic game, and we're going to start a new game with a new character. And so we get the introduction with the quote from the Canticle of Threnodies, that "and so is the golden city blackened with each step you take in my hall. Marvel at perfection, for it is fleeting. You have brought sin to heaven and doom upon all the world."
The chantry teaches us that it is the hubris of men which brought the Darkspawn into our world. The mages had sought to usurp heaven, but instead, they destroyed it. They were cast out, twisted and cursed by their own corruption.
We're going to mess as little as possible with this introduction.
They returned as monsters, the first of the Darkspawn. They became a blight upon the lands, unstoppable and relentless. The Dwarven kingdoms were the first to fall, and from the deep roads, the Darkspawn drove at us again and again, until finally we neared annihilation. Until the Grey Wardens came. Men and women from every race, warriors and mages, barbarians and kings. The Grey Wardens sacrificed everything to stem the tide of darkness, and prevailed. It has been 4 centuries since that victory, and we have kept our vigil. We have watched and waited for the Darkspawn to return. But those who once called us heroes have forgotten. We are few now, and our warnings have been ignored for too long. Even be too late. For I have seen with my own eyes what lies on the horizon. Maker, help us all.
Right, and so runs the background and the sort of a mythological backdrop of the world of Dragon Age Origins. And it's time for us to create our character. This is of course very much a dark fantasy world with very violent and dark past, I suppose. So, whether we'll be able to... Well, I think playing an out-and-out complete and utter pacifist, like Gandhi-like character in this game is pretty much out of the question, but I am going to go with a dwarf, a rogue, and a noble. Lots of reasons why I want to go with a dwarf. I mean, you've got to love dwarves. I mean, little chubby, bearded guys. And yeah, I love those. Even it's not just because I happen to be a chubby little bearded guy myself, but
Greetings.
I think personally that the whole thing about Dragon Age Origins is that it is epic, and the story of the dwarves of Orzammar, you know, the as you were just told, the original, sort of the first race to come into contact with the Darkspawn. If you're not taken by that story just because these people aren't as tall as yourself, then, you know, grow some sympathy and empathy. So we go, also, of course, the more important reason for it, besides my own personal penchant for dwarves in all kinds of fantasy games, really, this gives us an opportunity to create the kind of character that I want to go with here for this very much experimental type of Let's Play. I'm not going to call it a playthrough because I have no idea. Probably won't be able to get through it, but it's still an excellent opportunity for me to just get into the mood of this excellent game. And that is the eye shape we want. And let's see, of course, our character's going to have, I think, as blue eyes as I can get them. Because it's going to be... There we go, that's it. And what else? Oh yeah, let's give him a bit of a highbrow. You know, he is a highbrow kind of character, and this gives us a sort of incessant look of wonder and astonishment in his eyes, which I think is exactly what I'm looking for. We'll make his hair... Yeah, let's make it... I wanted to make it all somewhat sort of blue if I could, but I guess I can't. Let's make it as light as possible then. Alright, completely white, fair enough, fine by me. And he's... let's see. Basically, I just... alright, and his beard is not the right type at all. Let's see, no, well, maybe. You know, why not? I think that's more or less what I'm looking for, actually. Except his nose is just... let's see. Alright. Okay. Jaws and cheeks. I think, especially the chin, a bit too wide, and the mouth is just, yeah, let's give him that sort of bit biting together kind of expression, and maybe it's a little bit wide as well. That's too, alright, well, alright. I wanted to give him as an almost icy hair as much as possible. That's as close as you can get, I think. And he looks sort of unbearded and fairly naive, which is more or less what I'm looking for. I'm going to call him Adelstan. and oh, his brows. Something still odd with his hair. His eyebrow color is all wrong. Get rid of those. Oh, doesn't that just like someone with fairly icy hair, doesn't it? And of course, right. The thing is, this character, he is a rogue. He's going to be very cunning. He's not going to be very strong at all. I suppose fairly dexterous. A little bit of constitution might be nice, but he's going to be sort of cunning is his main thing. This is a noble, and that just might be one of the few backgrounds here which actually has led a fairly sheltered life, even in this tough world that he is living in. Let's see, he's going to be... Alright, he's obviously had poison making and combat training. And coercion, yeah, that will be exactly his sort of thing. This guy has grown up in the royal court of the dwarves of Orzammar, and he is... Yeah, he's certainly the kind of... Definitely... He's used to politics and, you know, telling people what to do and getting them to do what he wants. He's also going to be good at sneaking around, gathering intelligence, trying to... Because he's going to be... if I'm going to try and kill as... You know, this is going to be a character who doesn't like to kill, basically. Who doesn't like death. If he can manage to just avoid combat by sneaking around it, he's going to do that. That's just in his character. On the other hand, he is also a dwarven noble. He will have been trained to fight. So, possibly dual wielding as a rogue. That might be. That might be either that or archery. But I think as a noble, he will probably have been trained in you know, hand-to-hand, close-up combat, and then some sort of dual-wielding training is what he's probably... Could he do sweep, I suppose? Give him an advantage against several enemies. That might just be useful, actually. Yeah, we'll go with that. I think normal is more than difficult enough for me. I've played through the whole game once. I have done that. And then all the background stories once.
Deep beneath the Frostback Mountains sits Orzammar, the larger of two known remaining Dwarven cities in the world. Orzammar was once the seat of a major empire connected by tunnels called deep roads, which stretched thousands of miles. The city now stands alone, cut off from the rest of the Dwarven ancestral lands by the Darkspawn incursion. Secure in Orzammar's impregnable construction, the Dwarven noble houses continue their centuries-old power struggles. Assassination and blackmail are commonplace, but the appearance of honor is paramount. You are the second child of King Endren of House Aiduken, the 9th Aiduken ruler elected by the Noble Assembly. You grew up in a world rife with political intrigue and have struggled against brothers and cousins for honor and prestige. Today, a feast celebrates your first military commission, the opening move towards real power in the ever-changing game of Dwarven politics.
Greetings, my lord. You are dressed and ready. Excellent. I couldn't find the armor's matching dagger, but I scrounged up a rather fancy longsword. Do you wish to wear your shield to the noble's feast?
Right. So I guess you got an idea of what kind of background he's got. I think he's been slightly shielded from all the assassination stuff. I think he's, I think Idelstan has essentially the kind of... He's been involved in politics and vying for prestige and power and favour and all that. He's been trained and all that. He's been trained to fight. I don't think outright assassination is something he's really been brought into. I think he's been a little bit protected from that. Also, you know, he has been pampered, of course, as a Dwarven noble and prince. So he doesn't quite know the, or he hasn't felt all the terrible realities of this rather dark world. But in his training, he has developed a good deal of cunning. Yet he has a kind of idealistic core, I think, to his sort of ethos. He wants, I think, to, I don't know, to try and keep, especially his people, the dwarves, alive. I don't think he's given that much thought to the other people of the world just yet, the humans and the elves and all that, but he doesn't like death. He does, of course, know all the struggles against the Darkspawn, so when it comes to the Darkspawn, I mean, all bets are off, all deals are off when it comes to... he's definitely ready to fight the Darkspawn, but he doesn't want to see, especially other dwarves, dead. He would rather, you know, coerce, bribe, intrigue, manipulate them into doing what he wants, and he's doesn't quite have the stomach for outright assassination, I don't think. So would this kind of character wear a shield to the noble's feast? Well, he could try and have them see him as a warrior, but he isn't really one. So nah, leave it. I don't want to look fearful.
Agreed. Tonight's battles will be of politics and intrigue. A shield won't be all that useful. Of course, they might think you were too fearful to risk looking fearful.
You, my friend, are ridiculous.
One can't take all this marching about and speech-making too seriously. Moving on to the business at hand. The king expects you to make an appearance at the feast, but there's no rush. The noble family heads will spend hours boring your father with petitions and petty grievances.
Right. So I guess, well, I think this, yeah, he's concerned about his brothers. He has been vying with them for a long time, so what of my brothers?
Out and about. I saw them on my way here, browsing the shops. As part of the celebrations, permits have been auctioned off to members of the merchant caste who wish to sell wares in the Diamond Quarter. Lord Harrowmont has also opened up the provings for young warriors to test their mettle before tomorrow's battle. Perhaps we should go show them what single combat is really all about. And by we, I mean you. I'll practice my cheering.
Right. No, I think I'd rather go see the merchants.
Right behind you, my lord. The day is ours until the feast.
Right. So, I think it's time to make a save for this character. Let's play one. I think there's been a fairly long introductory kind of video, but it's given you an idea of what kind of character we're going to play. He's basically, his hair is all white, sort of, I think that gives him a bit of a semblance of wisdom, but also just, he's got some coolness, some ice to his hair, I think. And right, get a codex and an autosave, and lots of instructions to information about Dwarven faith and Dwarven politics, I think. Yes. I don't know if you want me to read all this stuff to you, or maybe I should just keep it on screen and you can pause and read it yourself if you want to. You might as well leave a comment for that. I think for now I'll just give you sort of the quick summary. Basically, the dwarves of Orzammar are always, you know, vying for favor, politicking, manipulating, allying through marriage and patronage to different merchants and artisans and so on, always vying for prestige and power between the noble families. A kind of, really at the heart, a kind of dog-eat-dog world, but with the semblance of this, everybody trying to keep the semblance of honor and so on. Also everybody trying to, keeping up appearances, I suppose. One interesting thing I do like a lot about the dwarves is their faith is very different from that of the other religions here, and this really brings out some of the epicness and the special thing about the dwarves. I think that the idea that they see themselves as children of the stone. Dwarves don't really let's get rid of this stuff. Dwarves don't really promise. They don't worship any gods. Their sort of ideals are the paragons, the ancestors that they revered, or rather the most revered, the most notable of the ancestors who founded the noble families, in fact. And supposedly our paragons joined with the stone and life and now stand watch at our gate, ushering in those surfaces privileged to visit our city. There is no greater honor to hope for, no better reward for an exceptional life. So rather than gods, they just revere the ancestors, and it says something about, how the dwarven society is sort of written in stone. It doesn't change. It's kind of stagnant, especially with the threat of the darkspawn. They just don't really see the danger, but go on as they always have, I suppose. Clinging to past glory rather than really seeing what needs to be done to basically counter the darkspawn threat. I think this young idealist would like to change that if he can. Let's also check our quest. Yes, we can visit the merchants or watch the provings, basically. Provings being a sort of show combat to win prestige and glory and honor and all that jazz. This character is obviously like I said, prefers to head for the merchants. We're in the royal palace, where our royal father's got a room, and Trian, I believe, is one of our character's brothers.
Good day, Lord Idukan.
Hi there, Mr. Guard, sir.
Congratulations on being named commander, my lord.
Right, we've got a military position now, being named commander. Well, so long as it's just fighting the darkspawn, our character doesn't mind it, but he doesn't like it either. Right, I should probably try and get a secondary sword and stuff as well. Was there anything in our room, by the way? I'm gonna go back and check that very quickly.
No sign of trouble here.
Nope. There are some books, though. Apparently, a bust, a chest. Oh yeah, there's stuff.
Very
in
well.
Here. There's a chest. This is my own room, so I'm definitely gonna loot that. Oh yeah, one thing I forgot to say. This guy's gonna try avoiding. Right, this crystal has an image of. Right, the city of Orzammar. We'll get to that. More importantly, this character, he's probably a little bit vain, but certainly while he doesn't necessarily approve of killing, he may need to do it, but he is not one of the things about him, if he does have to kill someone, he is not planning on taking their stuff. I mean, that's... You can read some books on Dwarven history in his own castle. He might grab some stuff
I am at your service.
in his castle that's his home, but he's not going to steal all kinds of stuff that don't belong to him, especially, you know, no special allowances for doing that when he's killed someone, you know. That's would seem as if is some sort of brigand or just madman, you know, killing people, taking their stuff. No, that's not. He might be able to sneak in and then read somebody's letters, though. Rika has sent a letter to Balin. Apparently you are too kind to me. I'm a small and insignificant thing. I do not deserve your attention, but your willingness to tolerate my patience shows you to be a prince among men. Yours truthfully are probably Rika, then. Interesting. Oh well. So, somebody's been talking to Balin?
I'm sorry. I thought you were Prince Balin coming down the hall. Forgive me.
So... Right. From the tattoo, you can see she's, probably castless. Well, certainly, no noble. Probably castless. Who are you, anyway?
She's, it seems she's one of your brother Balin's newest, companions. Prince Balin is attending the feast being held in Lord Iduken's honor.
Yes, of course. It was presumptuous of me to think that he would return to... I am sorry. I will show myself out, with your leave, my lord.
Right, and you could of course take the high ground, and since she is a very low in society, you could tell Gorham to... there's nobody else here whose reputation is at stake, so he'd tell her, I suppose. Doesn't need to distance himself that much from her. Frankly, though, also, you know, you can go or you can stay.
Thank you. I will go now.
Right. Okay, I think this has been a fairly long opening video anyway. You've got an idea what kind of character I'll be playing. Doesn't like to kill, we'll try and avoid it if possible. Does not loot other people, but has no soft spot for Darkspawn, definitely. So that's basically it. I think I'm going to save again, and then I hope I'll see you again in another episode of this experiment. We'll see how it goes, how far I'll get. But until then, go in peace and live and let live.